Good evening everyone. Yes, Pratibha, good evening. I hope I am audible to you properly and others who are watching me. There would be some delay, I guess, a little bit, because it's live on YouTube, so there might be some delay. So those who are attending, I would request them to the extent possible, try to type whatever queries, whatever doubt you have. Okay. So let us start, okay, as people will keep joining. So first of all, again, welcome to Level Up IAAS. This is the orientation program, the introduction kind of program or lecture for that matter, about the foundation course that we are going to start on 26th of July. Okay, and about the philosophy optional for the UPSC, right? So this is just orientation and doubt clearing. Obviously, if you have any doubt, I will just introduce the way, basically whatever things that I have to tell you. Later, followed by that, you can ask questions. You can ask questions in between also if you have any. Okay, obviously no issue. I will be watching your questions through comments, and I'll try to answer immediately here. If not, I'll certainly answer in the last, whichever is comfortable for you. Okay. Now, very briefly, what is philosophy? You might have heard this word many times in your life, perhaps have got very mysterious responses, complicated responses at times, something that you may not understand. Some people would have had a lot of interest. So it is very, this word philosophy, darshan shastra, tattva gyan, these things have been always associated with, in some or the other way, with what? With some kind of crypticness, some kind of ununderstandable esoteric kind of concepts. And obviously our main job is to kind of make it simplify for you, and for this option also and otherwise also. So basically what philosophy is, you might have heard this also, most of you might have heard this particular thing also. What philosophy means? Love for wisdom, right? So love for wisdom means what? Anybody who have this inclination, habit, attraction for anything, to understand it better, to know it better, to gather knowledge, to enhance your experience and understanding of things, is called philosophy. So basically it is love for wisdom. Now wisdom is basically the sense, the understanding, or the particular thing where you have the right application of the knowledge that you have the correct application of the knowledge that you have, or you have the meaningful application of the knowledge you have, right? So this particular topic, philosophy, basically deals with this, that okay. So no problem, Pratibha, but for your information, this will be obviously this is specifically exclusively for English medium students. So I hope you will try to understand in between. In between, I'll try to speak in Hindi for your understanding. If you are at least comfortable with what I am talking about, that will be great, because the course is for English medium basically. Okay, so kind of apologies from our side, because this is English medium course in the core. Okay, so someone who has this habit or attraction or interest to know things, understand things and experience things in a better and better way, so that your sense of awareness and understanding and knowledge about the thing increases, is called philosophy. So basically tell me, what do you think raises your information, knowledge and wisdom? Okay, when it comes to learning something, what do you think gives you more knowledge, a question or an answer? It is a question. You start with a question and the answer you will get in a better way. So, whenever you get an answer to the question, it enhances your knowledge. So, the one who raises the question, the one who asks more question is someone considered to be philosopher, someone considered to be the one who like to know more things. So, philosopher basically is the one who asks question. In fact, all the philosophers that are famous in history, be it Plato, Socrates, or from our side Buddha, Mahavir, Shankaracharya, all were in their times very famous about their way of asking questions, their way of asking pertinent questions of which answer is nothing but some new knowing, new understanding and new insight for people who are asking those questions, right. So, and that is the reason the one who started asking these questions, okay, they known to be philosophers, and these answers to these questions categorized in different forms, categorized in different classes are started to be called as streams, subjects, topics. Okay, so like physics, chemistry, biology, maths and so many other things, all are all sciences. Now, when we talk about science, there is additional feature we will study when we will study logical positivist, because science is question answered by experience and observation, not just thinking, but mathematics. So, that is why it is said that philosophy is mother of all the streams, right. So, yes, good evening Parul. So, philosophy is considered to be a mother of all streams, all knowledge, basically because philosopher is the one who started asking question in first place. Now, question can be about anything, even the questioning, the process of questioning can also be questioned. So, that is the reason philosopher seem to get or appears to be getting more complicated, but what they are basically doing it, they are questioning everything, and this questioning is not about value judgment, this questioning is about knowing more. So, when you question something does not mean you always criticize the person or the argument, you want to know more. So, you can ask question to know more also. Yes, Prashant, good evening. So, that is what the basically philosopher is the one who asks question, thinks on the topics, try to understand topic in a better and better understanding. That is why logic has a huge place in philosophy. In fact, okay, if you see logic is one of the most important topic of philosophy. In fact, prior to 2011, okay, UPSC used to have what? UPSC used to have optional papers for the prelims also, right. In that case, the syllabus for those optional paper for the prelims was predominantly logic. What you actually get to see in your CSAT paper nowadays, where you try to do the syllogism, logical reasoning, critical reasoning, that kind of question used to come in philosophy, subject predicate forms and all those things. But now in that context, logic is not part of our syllabus, okay. So, basically today broadly there are 5 wings, 5 branches of philosophy. There are many sub branches under metaphysics, there are some branches, there are under epistemology there are sub branches, but basically there are 5 branches which are still called as core philosophy. Rest others are also part of philosophy like physics, chemistry, maths, everything, but now they have got their independent existence, they have developed in a different way by the subsequent thinkers from that area. Now, still these things are still considered to be under the jurisdiction of philosophy, okay, of which logic, okay, formal logic and inductive logic, deductive logic, all those things fall under the category of logic. Ethics, now ethics, here ethics is obviously the theory of what is right, what is wrong, how something is right, something is wrong is decided and things like that. And aesthetics is theory of beauty, as to what constitutes beauty. Is symmetry beautiful? Is something beautiful because it is asymmetrical or anything of that sort? Those questions will be answered here. Ethics, you already know what is right, what is wrong, but here again in our philosophy optional paper, it is not there syllabus. Very few places the reference comes as to what is the purpose of human life, what is the ultimate goal of human life, what is dharma, artha, kam, moksha. In that, what is dharma? Dharma is righteousness, duty and moral law or whatever. In those context only the ethics comes. But yes, the overall understanding of metaphysics and epistemology will actually give, or generally gives you, a better insight of what is ethical and what is not ethical. So generally that is why we will see later also, but it is being said that if you have philosophy optional people generally have a better understanding of paper 4. Yes, obviously that is not enough, but it is a good start for anybody who would like to know ethics also. Now what is epistemology and what is metaphysics? Basically simple. The whole philosophy, especially paper 1, because paper 2 is application, but paper 1 is Western thought and Indian thought. Thought about what? The Western thought about what is the reality. Okay, what is the reality? And they have their own theory of reality, like reality is this, reality is substance, it has qualities, it has this. So this explanation of reality, this theory of reality is called metaphysics. Okay, so any philosopher will always talk about his theory of reality. Then there is something called, how do you know that reality? So the process of knowing, the method of knowing, the whole system of knowing, how do you know? Do you know through experience, or do you know through your concepts, intellectual concepts inside you? What is knowledge coming from? It is coming from sense experience, or it is coming from your own understanding of the things inside you. What is the source of knowledge? Is it sense experience or internal innate ideas? Okay, this has been a basic debate. So there are different ways you can know the thing. So how do I know this as pen? How do I know that this is made of plastic? So my knowledge of this particular thing, there is a whole process, like I see this, so visible rays go to my eyes, it will make an image, that image will be sent to brain. Now this is psychological analysis, but basically what they say is there are different versions of it, then different explanations for as to what is knowledge. Somebody says that this sense experience is very unintelligent, very discrete, very spread over. You can't have meaning unless you understand those particular things, unless you understand that particular thing in your conceptual way. That is what Plato said, that all ideas are, all knowledge is knowledge of ideas, or reality also is nothing but ideas. Prashant is saying something. Sir, please turn from Western philosophy in upcoming class. Prashant, we have our own this thing, we will share that timetable and all. Once you kind of enroll for that, you will get the timetable. And the way we teach is, the way we have formalized our syllabus is keeping in mind the general public's understanding, general public's flow of understanding, which always has been proven, not just me, any other teacher you go, it starts with Indian philosophy. So we will also start with Indian philosophy, but immediately after that certainly Western philosophy will be taken up, because what happens otherwise, many Indian philosophy terms you are already habitual to, already you are aware about. So it becomes very easy to induct other new concepts along with that, because otherwise what happens then, Western philosophy becomes very tough thing to start with for many. Okay, so it is not about, anyway we have to finish that also, this also, where Indian also takes around 1 and 1/2 month, Western also take that much time anyway. So we would be starting with Indian philosophy on 26th, but followed by that will be Western philosophy, right from Plato and Aristotle. Generally we go with the syllabus, sequence of the syllabus, because we will see we will see the syllabus sequence also. There is a logic in which there is a flow on the basis of which UPSC has decided something. So, we will go according to it. They start with the classic philosophers first, who have basic ideas, and those ideas get developed into the something called linguistic philosophers, and after that post linguistic philosophers like radical empiricists and all. Similar is the case with Indian context. Initial they are basic, later on Shankaracharya, and last Aurobindo is the most modern of Indian philosophers, which is part of our syllabus. So, we will be starting on Indian philosophy from 26th of July. So, epistemology is what? Epistemology is your theory of knowledge. So, basically what? The philosopher will explain everything. Okay. Basically now, if you compare, okay, if you compare the both things, you will understand generally any scientific or scientist, what he or she will say, there is a human being, okay, and there is a tree. How do you know the tree? There are some light falls on it, goes to your this thing, through eyes it makes an image here, and that is how you know that this is tree, right. So, for science, tree is his reality. In this context I am saying, for a scientist he will say that this tree is part of the reality, and this process is part of my epistemology. Okay, but generally why the word metaphysics and not physics used? Because when we talk about scientists, they will talk about physical world. That is why their science is physics. So, in science also physics is considered to be the basic sciences, because they accept physical reality as the reality. But metaphysics means what? Something beyond reality or beyond physical existence, we should say, rather than. So, basically scientists will say that reality, what is real, is physical world, nothing else is real, because they cannot see anything, they cannot feel anything. But metaphysician will what would be the reality for a metaphysician or a philosopher? Real is beyond physical world. Now, what is beyond physical world? That is called metaphysics. Yes. So, metaphysics is basically beyond physics. It is not just so, this physics being the reality of the world is one of the philosophical thoughts. Like for example, there is a school of thought called logical positivist. Okay. So, they will study in Western. Logical positivist, they consider what? Physical world is the reality, because they have this epistemological theory, that verification theory of meaning. Verification theory of meaning means what? Everything has to be verified. Okay, observation, verified through observation, and then only we can consider that to be real. So, that is why logical positivists are a philosopher which are very close to today's scientific community or scientists, right. So, that is how. So, verification theory of meaning is their epistemology. Verification theory of meaning is their theory of knowing things, right. So, that is how, this is just a glimpse as to what metaphysics, what epistemology, and basically the whole syllabus of our physics, philosophy is either epistemology or metaphysics. It is only these two things we will be studying for Indian and Western, and in paper 2 it is actually application of this thing, that is application of this concept of metaphysics to two things. One is religion specifically, and second to the society and rather socio-political issues that we face, but again philosophical application. So that's why all the philosophers in the paper 2 are also philosophers who have given their own philosophies in a basic way. Okay, so they are giving their basic some concepts, okay, be it Marx, okay, be it John Rawls, like what justice is, why justice is important. Now generally what we do in paper 2 polity, justice we take it for granted as a political value, ideal value, socio-political ideal, and take it forward, okay, and how it can be just or not just. But why justice is important? Who told? Because John Rawls said that justice is fairness. Why it has to be important? Because it has to be reasonable. So, and for why something has to be reasonable? Because we are based in reason. Human beings are nothing but the product of reason. Okay. So, that is how we see the paper 2. It is very different than how it is in political science and sociology, but yes, there are similar areas there. We will see the syllabus also, we will see. Now, yes, this is a very important slide in a way. Many people ask as to, yes, good evening Amol, as to why philosophy as optional. Now, obviously there are many reasons for any optional for that matter. Every optional has some positives, and this is assumed to be like, you know, in that particular option you have some interest, some inclination, you have some appreciation for these terms. That is one aspect, and it is applicable to any optional. But in addition to that, that is very subjective supporting point. First of all, this is very, when it comes to completing the syllabus through lectures, it takes only 100 lectures, and that too this is maximum. Our last batch we could finish all the syllabus in around 89, 90 lectures only. 100 I have kept because sometimes what happens, we prolong the lecture, sometimes we, you know, buffer kind of things we have kept. This is apart from the 15 days crash course that we will be having, we just had for the this year's main students, that is different. But I am saying your foundation, your basic foundation is not more than 100 lecture for sure. Okay, so that is the big advantage, because then now you can plan your philosophy, your optional preparation within 100 lectures means what? Around 3.5 or 4 months. Okay, 4 months maximum you can consider. So in 4 months you are done with philosophy, that too with revision, tests and everything. So this is a very big positive point for philosophy. Second, now the less uncertainty means what? You check any other humanities optional that generally comparable optionals like sociology, pol science, anthropology, psychology, other public administration, geography, and you see philosophy question papers for last 10 years. I can guarantee you all the questions that have been there and the basic content of all the questions, 50 to 60% questions have been repeated as it is. It is like this is the thing that you read 10 times, 15 times, and you go and write the answer. Some questions, very few questions will be very, you know, something like some on the basis of some current happening which you are not aware about, you are required to write. What happens generally, if you don't know about the current happening, then you will not be able to write anything there. So even in the paper 2, the questions are philosophical in nature, and philosophies are very much fixed. Everybody, when Marx wrote his philosophy, see, when we study, we don't study different interpretation by different other thinkers about Marx. That is not part of the syllabus. Whatever Marx said about his own communism, his own dictatorship of proletariat, his own surplus value, these 6-7 concepts, and the same concepts will come in the paper by, you know, rearranging things. So that brings a very less uncertainty into the paper. I would request you to literally, those who are thinking about it, just go through the question papers, okay, previous year question papers, and if you can get topic wise previous year question papers, you will see under one topic the same question is being repeated. What was, what is the theory of forms given by Plato? Okay, explain the idea of theory of forms given by Plato. Okay, critically discuss the theory of forms by Plato. So same thing, 2-3 times the question has come. So 50% of the question paper we can actually, if we solve last 10 years previous years questions, 50% of the question paper 1, paper 2, you already have written the answer, not that you know the answer, you have written the answer. And I can guarantee this, you can just see previous year question paper compilation, you will understand what I am talking about. So this is a very strong point for the philosophy. It happens with very less topics like that, because philosophy is about very abstract and core things. It does not talk much about, or does not take into consideration much about the variations, applications and all. So it is inherently not possible to write something or to ask something which is heavily connected with current affairs and not connected with our this thing. Okay, result has been consistent. Now when I say consistent, it's like, you know, the consistent undercurrent. If you see what we can say, the ratio, okay, number of how many students actually appear with mains and how many students get into, that's how the result has to be compared, right? If 100 students are coming with option A and only 10 students are appearing with option B, so the selection should be compared on the basis of ratio. Because if somebody is not able to crack prelims, that's another story altogether, you know everything. Some specific optional has nothing to do with prelims, like somebody having some literature subject, some mathematics subject, they have nothing to do with prelims. But still, after prelims is cracked, how many people actually sit for mains examination, of which how many get selected? In that case, it is very consistent. Okay, the ratio of philosophy is around 6 to 10% across the years, which is similar is the case with any other conventional comparable optional that we have. Obviously, some optionals like statistics or commerce or zoology, they have different spikes, because sometimes only 5 people give, of that 2 people get selected, then you know, it becomes suddenly 40%. So but if you compare with the conventional optionals that we have, okay, it is very consistent that every year some or the other person have the chance to get into this thing. Normally marks like 260, 70, 80 is the range of those who have sincerely prepared for philosophy optional. If you are prepared slightly better than that, your understanding is better, you can go 290, 300 also in the philosophy, but that all happens only in this 90 to 100 lectures, and same thing you have to revise so many times. It's so much little syllabus that philosophy, if you see as a topic, the syllabus that we have is not even a 1%, not even 1%. Okay, literally if you see the syllabus, we'll see, next you will understand. Plato has written so many books, around 100 books maybe, small books if you consider. We have only his theory of ideas and theory of forms. Basically theory of forms, theory of ideas is same thing, ideas are forms. That's all is for the syllabus, and you have to write question on that only. So that is the thing, it's very positive. Here, because of, if you can revise 300 times and if you write answers, see, if you can revise 20 times and if you can solve all the last 10 years question PYQs at least once, it is guaranteed that you will reach at least near 300 or possibly beyond 300, that depends on so many other things also. But these two things if you keep in mind, I have to revise whole syllabus, it is very much possible to revise the whole syllabus 20 times till next means, not now. First reading will take along with the class, okay, and generally you do your class, it's like you have done 2-3 readings, because in the class only so many things get revised, on the same day you go and revise and you write answer weekly, so automatically 3 times you are revised. After that it takes considerably less time as compared to any other this thing, and after 10th revision it becomes so easy, as in you know you can finish in one day you can finish 4 or 5 thinkers just like that, and you are ready to write answer. So that is the benefit of this, because you can revise very fast, and if you can revise and if you can solve previous year questions of last 10 years, all questions, and I hope most of you already joined the Telegram group that we have, we already started this exercise. I am giving model answers there. So, there also it can help you. Then as I mentioned, because of the basic understanding and approach that you have regarding ethical and philosophical questions, the understanding of ethics, like from where the Kant is coming with deontological, from where this Bentham and Mill is coming from utilitarian point of view, what is their justification for this deontological and utilitarian point of view, everything, it becomes very easy for you to grasp things. Same is the case of essay. Abhi, what to talk about essay, because last time all the essays were philosophical. They were talking about what? They were talking about, in fact, some of the essays were exactly the question that they have asked in UPSC paper. The rational is real and real is rational, the statement by Hegel. So, that has been the question that we have, the philosophy students have been very habitual in solving it. Okay. So, how his concept of real, how his concept of rationality, an absolute idea, his dialectical mechanism and everything. Obviously, in essay you are not required to write all those things, but what happens is when you know the basic concept like this, it becomes very easy for you to kind of expand it or apply it to the current happenings and things. That also we will, because most of the students that are studying under me for the foundation, obviously they get some informal this thing from me about essay also, and whenever the time comes we discuss about some in between also about essay. Why? Because in that flow you understand how to expand that particular thing in a philosophical way. Even if it is philosophical, once you understand it, it becomes very easy. Same is the case with GS, it is especially quote. Sorry, I had forgotten that. Quote. Quotes is like, it's a bread and butter of a philosopher. Every philosopher is called philosopher without, no philosopher will be called philosopher without the philosopher having at least one quote, strong and loaded quote that he has uttered in his life. Without that, no philosopher will be called philosopher. So, in the quote, that 30 marks, you can be very clear, and it becomes very easy for a person who has studied philosophy to understand what the quote is saying. Later, how to expand it, obviously you need in the GS4 paper, you need current affairs knowledge and all that much you have, and we do teach that ethics also here, and it helps in interview. You see all the toppers marks, specifically please do this study for yourself. What will happen? At least 4 or 5 toppers last 2, 3, 4 years, those who have got good ranks and have philosophy optional, please go and check their interview marks. In most likely possibility that they would have got more than or close to 200 marks, which, because when I had given this thing, I was very sure that I will also get good marks, and I had got 216 in my interview. Next time I had got 190 in my interview. So, it has always been good marks. Somehow your way of argument, your way of the way you use the words, where you put your word forward, everything becomes little more easier, logical, and kind of with succinct flow. So, which helps you in interview. That's my observation, obviously, and I have been observing since including my batchmates and other people who have gone with this philosophy optional, and myself. It helps, it very much helps, and helps in building logical and analytical approach and critical thinking, because as I mentioned earlier, logical, analytical and critical are the 3 basic things that every philosopher have to have. There is no doubt about it. So, philosopher has to be logical, critical and analytical. Without that, you cannot be philosopher, because for philosopher you have to question. When you question and you try to answer, the answer has to be logical, critical and analytical also, right. So, overall point is there are many positives that the philosophy offers. The only challenge, now you might ask, if there are so many positive, what are the challenges? Yes, there are. The basic challenges is the initial understanding of the things. Once you, because if you don't understand, if you don't gather the knack of explaining that particular thing, the philosophical thing, the understanding of that philosophical aspect, it becomes very difficult later on to build upon it. So, it doesn't happen if especially if you have done some guidance, some coaching somewhere, some classes from somewhere, then it won't happen. But there are some people who study for themselves. For them, little bit understanding becomes very difficult unless you have done graduation or masters in philosophy, because there at least point is you have done some classes, you have done heard, you have listened to someone who knows this particular thing, right, the philosophy. Structure of papers, paper 1 is part 1, part 2 Western in Indian, you might have seen. Socio-political and religion. So here epistemology and metaphysics, we already discussed this, is very important than anything else. Every paper has section A and section B, and that's how question paper also. Section there are total paper 1 will have total question 8, okay. So of which 1 and 5 compulsory. This just briefly I am telling you, because if you can also see for yourself. So question 1, and this is same for all the optional. Question 1 and 5 are compulsory, that is 10 markers, 5 10 markers, it is compulsory. And among the question 2, 3, 4 and 6, 7, 8, you have to write any 3, at least one from each. Basically 2, 3, 4 will be Western, 6, 7, 8 will be Indian in the paper. So you can choose, but at least one question has to be written from 2, 3, 4 and one from 6, 7, 8, and rest one from any of the favorite that you have, either Indian or Western. And here one question means 3 sub questions, 20 marker, 15 marker, 15 marker. So basically what happens, one question is 50 marks, okay. So every question is 50 marks and you have to write 5 questions. So it becomes what, 250 marks paper, one paper, and same is the case with paper 2, 250 marks. So that's how it is 500 marks examination. Okay, this is the syllabus. We have Charvak, Jainism, Buddhism, Nyaya Vaisheshik, Sankhya Yoga, Mimamsa, Vedanta and Aurobindo. Okay, this is the syllabus. Now see, Charvak, theory of knowledge, that is his theory of knowledge. You can finish the whole note on in 1 or 2 pages, theory of knowledge, and rejection of transcendental entities is around 3 to 5 pages. So whole Charvak is done in 8 pages. You are getting this much is syllabus. Rest Charvaka's philosophy means so many other things, but for our syllabus only this much. Jainism, their theory of reality, that is metaphysics. Saptabhangine, bondage and liberation. Okay, so this bondage and liberation means their soul. And by the way, this bondage and liberation will be repeated in paper 2. Paper 2, religion. Again 30% of the syllabus is what you will study here. Paper, that's why paper 2, especially philosophy of religion, it is very easy to finish because half of it you already done. Okay, proofs for existence of God you already know because you have done in paper 1. Here there will be Nyaya theology also. Okay, God, proofs of existence of proofs for existence of God. So that is Nyaya Vaisheshik. In the same way, Charvak would have their rejection of transcendental entities means was what? Rejection of God also. So here also, so paper 2, philosophy of religion, also 30% syllabus is covered here. So that becomes all the more easy, right? Then Buddha, Pratita Samutpad, Kshanikvad and Nairatmyavad. So these are very specific concepts. You study Pratita Samutpad, Kshanikvad, Nairatmyavad and the schools of Buddhism, right? Then Nyaya Vaisheshik, theory of categories, theory of appearance. So point is, now obviously detailed syllabus doesn't make much sense now. This is as it is what UPSC has given. So these are the philosophers for Indian. Okay, Indian takes around 1 month for us to finish. Then Western, Plato, Aristotle, rationalism, empiricism, Kant, Hegel. Then from, see, till here it is like you can say the classic philosophers till Hegel. From Moore onwards it becomes very modern kind of, postmodern kind of philosophers. Okay, these are ancient philosophers. Rationalism, empiricism, Kant, Hegel are modern philosophers. Moore, Russell are, Wittgenstein, phenomenology and existentialism are postmodern, and Coyne and Strawson are very new. They have the radical empiricism and theory of basic particulars and persons and all that, the detailed theory that they have there, right? So this is also, no, this particular paper is considered to be among the toughest for the Western philosophy, for the philosophical optional. this paper is considered to be very tough. But once you understand the terms, the concepts, the basic understanding, and what exactly the particular philosopher is meaning by this particular term, it becomes very easy for you to understand it. And obviously we are having classes basically for that reason. So when we say that word causation, what that thing actually, what is the thing that Aristotle is trying to talk about? What theory of causation Aristotle is trying to talk about is, I am there to explain you. It becomes very easy. Now Descartes, Spinoza, Leibniz, you might have heard names of these fellows, Locke, John Locke, Berkeley, Hume. So these are, and Kant, very famous one, who is there in the ethics also, you might have studied, you might have seen by now. Okay. So this is what our syllabus goes like, okay, for the paper 1. Obviously if you have any question, you can just type. I am also keeping eye on anybody typing anything which is of significance. Socio-political philosophy, it is now these things very easy to understand for you also. Equality, justice, liberty. So what equality means, what justice means, what liberty means, what is their interrelation between each other, and how they get implemented in the current society, especially India. Then what is sovereignty? Austin, Bodin, Lasky, Kautilya, okay, who, like, that is their theory of sovereignty. Very smart, small syllabus here also. What is the relation between individual and state? What are rights? What are duties? What are accountabilities? From where this concept is coming, as in philosophical understanding of that, as to from where the concept of duty is coming, from where the concept of accountability and rights is coming. Forms of government, monarchy, theocracy and democracy. Like from why monarchy was there, what theocracy actually does, why democracy is important today. Is democracy only kind of form of the government, or only form of the government that we can have today in modern world? Political ideologies, anarchism, Marxism, socialism, okay. Then humanism, secularism, multiculturalism. What is the meaning of the terms, and what is the reference of these terms, what is the context of these terms in present times? Crime and punishment, corruption, mass violence, genocide, capital punishment. Now all the debates, all the nuances of all the topics, philosophical topics, that is also part of syllabus. What is development? How it is different than social progress? What is the relation between development and progress? Okay, like when we talk about developing society and when we talk about progressive society, how the difference is, the meaning is different in both the cases. What is gender discrimination? What is female foeticide? How women empowerment is related to land and property rights and empowerment of women and things like that, right? And caste discrimination, what were Gandhi's view, what were Ambedkar's view. Now again, whatever is written here, question generally do not go beyond whatever given in the syllabus. Like straightforward, I am saying, even they do the application, it does not kind of create any issue with respect to something that you might not have known, because still question remains very general and abstract, because topic is very general and abstract. So that is the reason it remains like that. Philosophy of religion. Now here this, and that I was talking with the batch of this ethics, this philosophy crash course who are actually writing mains this year. So I was telling them this is very important topic, considering the today's current affairs, today's current happening, especially in Indian context. It becomes very, very important, very, very crucial. How? Notions of God. What is God? From where this concept of God becomes so important? Who decided that God is so important? What is the relation with man and the world? Now man means man and woman and everybody is assumed here. Now what are the Indian concepts, Western concepts here? Proofs for the existence of God. Like on what basis you say that God is there? What is your proof for God's existence? Okay, again, and their critique obviously, Indian and Western. Problem of evil, okay, why there are so many bad things, wrong things happening? If God is there, why can't everything be perfect? Soul, Atma we generally know in India. So what is this concept of rebirth? What is the concept of liberation, mukti, moksha? What is immortality? Okay, how amaratva? Okay, how you can remain without, generally it is considered nainan chidanti shastrani nainan dahati pavaka, means nothing can kill you, nothing can kind of stop you from existing in different ways. Okay, and punarjanma is just cycle of birth and rebirth, you keep coming till the time you do the liberation. That's what the whole this topic is all about. Reason, revelation and faith. So how faith, revelation means like Quran is a revelation, Gita is a revelation. So something is revealed to some particular person, a particular kind of special person. So that is called revelation. Reason means again reasoning behind those things. What is the place of reason? What is the place of critical thinking and logic in the era of faith and revelation? So any conflict there, any cooperation there, whatever is the scenario, we will discuss that way. Religious experience. What is the nature of religious experience? Like spiritual experience, mystical experience, religious experience, whatever the experience that Vivekananda had with Kali, the experience of Ramakrishna Paramhans with the Kali, experience of Ramanujan with the goddess, who he declared that she that is teaching him all the mathematics that he is saying. What is the experience of all the spiritual leaders? What is nirvana? Okay, what is Kaivalya Gyan? What is Vivek Gyan? Okay, what is moksha? So these are the things considered here, religious experience, right? Then religion without God. Like, can there be religion without God? Can there be religion without morality? Now this particular thing to some extent helps in ethics paper, because there might be some questions. There is this topic called, second topic called human values in paper 4, in which inculcating values, religion also plays the important role, and they might ask questions on the basis of how religion plays important role in inculcating values. In that context, there might be some question, and there have been some questions where they ask you to compare the relation between religion and morality, and you are required to talk about it. So in that context, this much understanding helps you to write some answer or the other. Religious pluralism, this is very important debate today, and problem of absolute truth. So is God one only? Is my God is the only one God? Can there be many, more than one God? Can ekam sad vipraha bahuda vadanti is the true thing or not true thing? So these different topics we discuss in the religious pluralism and problem of absolute truth. Only one God is the God, others are not God at all. And religious language, this becomes very important, because as I said, from classic to linguistic, here also it is classic to linguistic travel. So there also they have linguistically analyzed the concept of religious language. Whenever some religious person says that God is great or God is merciful, so what is the type, what is the analysis of this particular statement? Now this is just a statement, we don't know whether reality is there. What is the importance, what is the significance, what is the evaluation of this statement? Who will do it? On what basis? What kind of language religious people use? Is it analogical language or symbolic language or cognitivistic language or non-cognitivistic language? So there are these 4 models who talk about religious language. One model says that religious language is analogical in nature, another would say that religious language is symbolic in nature, like that. Okay, so cognitivistic, non-cognitivistic, there are arguments by Wittgenstein and other logical positivists and all that. So again, it is very much under control. See, this is very, for all the foundation students I have been telling this, that only one thing you have to keep in mind: understand and revise and write. Then again revise, that is when you write you realize that you are not able to understand it, reread, again understand, again write. If you do the every topic cycle, 20 times, which includes 10 years question paper that UPSC has come with, I can guarantee you do not need anything else. For doing this, you need have basic understanding, you need to sit in the class and understand, and you need some notes to keep with you, because day to day basis pay you cannot have the same class again and again. So you have books, very basic few books, okay, that will be telling you in the class, and mostly all our notes are made in such a way that you no need to read the books also, but generally there are some 2-3 books I request people to read, it will help them, right? In that way it works. So how, what is the strategy for the marks? So first you understand things, okay, that happens in the class, then you revise things, okay, you go back on the same day and revise, then you interlink, compare the topics, because comparative study helps you in a better way for the philosopher also, then write answer and deliberate upon it, and again this cycle goes on. As this cycle goes on, this cycle if you kind of rewind so many times, it becomes easy for you to get better and better insight for this topic and get better marks. And this is exactly what we are going to follow, this is exactly what I am going to kind of handhold for you for almost next 1 year, barring those 3-4 months of prelims, because there that time you also will be doing your prelim study and I also will not be disturbing you for the philosophy. Rest, why I am saying this almost a year, because coming 4 months we will be doing the classes, after that we will be having whatever answer writing or whatever you are doing, we will be helping you in that also, and followed by that after June I will also let you details, I will tell you, after June there will be a crash course for making you ready for the mains that year, that is next year, followed by test series. Okay, test series will is having 8 tests inside it, which again test discussion, typical test series. Everything is part of, for the foundation student it is automatic applicable. Now what is the course structure? 100 lectures, as I said, next 4 months, 5 days a week, because 2 days we generally give for answer writing and for your revision. Exhaustive notes, classroom notes also, while you write I will also tell you something to write down, and printed also, printed obviously or more exhaustive in the sense you can revise them. Daily answer writing, this happens every time one thinker is finished, like generally 1 week we can finish 2 to 3 thinkers, that is how it goes. So every time one thinker is over, like 2 days for example, 3rd day there will be kind of first 10 minutes you will be writing an answer. Mini test every week. Now this every thinker is basically, what we do is generally 2 thinkers we club and have a test in the end of the week. Generally every Saturday or Sunday you will have to write the mini test, like 3, 4, 5 questions, you just write and kind of submit that on portal. Obviously then there will be 4 sectional tests, this is proper tests after every one section, that is Indian is over, there will be 1 test, then Western is over, then another test, and then again socio-political is over, there is another test, and when religion is over there is another test. So there are 4 sectional tests after this thing. This much means your foundation till November end is over, then you are free to do your GS and other stuff. Then again when you come back in June, there will be 15-day booster course for you also, and you like after prelims, obviously this is, the people who are going for foundation are automatically included in it. Then this booster course and test series is combined, like basically point is this, that you kind of revise everything again sitting in the class 2.5 hours every day for 15 maximum 20 days, because this keeps changing 15-18 days, like that it happens, and you finish the paper 1, paper 2 both, and again 1 more week for you to study, and then you start writing answers through case study, that is also part of same thing. So you have this, like kind of a package, you start your understanding, your material, your answer writing, your evaluation, your crash course before means, your test series. So, you have nothing else, just you actually have everything, the physical material also, and the coaching also, and evaluation also. And apart from that also you have, you are very sincere and you have more zeal, you can still write questions and send it to me on social, like WhatsApp and Telegram or WhatsApp. I will get it evaluated, Personalized doubt clearing session, if in case you are in Delhi or you are getting chance to meet me, if you have any doubt, obviously you can ask me, right. So, that's all. That's all from my side. This is a quote which I am very big fan of, and this quote is very important for you as an administrator. Okay. Until philosophers are kings, or the kings have the spirit and the power of philosophy, cities will never have rest from their evils. Now, only thing I would request you to decode this quote by Plato in the present context, where until philosophers are kings. Now, here kings means somebody who is sitting in the powerful positions. So, you replace this word like replace this word with administrator. Okay, somebody who has the discretion and authority to do things. So, until philosophers are administrators, or the administrators have the spirit and power of philosophy, okay, societies will never have rest from their evils. Means good things won't happen in society unless somebody who is the broadest possible mind, who is very open to questions, who is open to knowledge, sitting in the powerful positions, nothing is going to happen to the society. So, basically what they are saying, somebody who have this sense of philosophy sitting in this position, okay. So, somebody who has this sense of philosophy, who is sitting in the position of power, will always be a better thing for a society. It is always a positive thing for the society, and we hope that we, by studying philosophy, at least we have some kind of understanding of this thing, and some kind of insight of philosophy, where you will be able to kind of serve to the society, you will be able to contribute to the society in a better way, and you will be positively seen in the society also in a better way, right. So, thank you very much. I am hoping to see you on 26th, that is Tuesday. Class timings are 9 to 11:30 in the morning, perhaps the most conventional and most conducive for the studying thing. Okay, that is what I assume, morning time. So, you have the whole day for your revision and other classes. And if you have any doubt, please ask me. You can type it. I will be able to receive your doubts. So, that is all from my side. Thank you very much for the patient listening. Questions, please. I will wait for 2, 3, 5 minutes if you have any questions. Okay then, thank you very much. See you on 26th. Thank you.